For this week's Solution Provider Focus, I'm here at the North American headquarters of Northgate Arinzo, a leading global human resources software and services provider, to meet with Kate Glebe, their Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Northgate Arinzo offers HR business solutions to employers of all sizes. They're firmly focused on improving quality and controlling costs of HR service delivery. They describe their solutions as being innovative and also creating superior business agility. With that said, Kay and I talked outsourcing, the challenge of meeting customers' needs. But first, I wanted to know why quality and cost cutting were such critical issues for HR managers today.
I think it really started as you think about the transition from the 80s to the 90s, when it was no longer personnel and it moved into this notion of human resources, and that an HR professional could actually add value to the business, and that they were as critical in controlling the costs within their part of the organization as their peers. And so when you think about what really they're trying to achieve, they're trying to get to a state where they can say, I'm delivering the best services at the right cost and able to focus on things that matter to the business. So they have to get out of this transactional mode and really focus on more strategic things like talent management.
So how are you going about achieving those goals of better quality and cost control?
We're really looking at it from two levels. One is the technology. Technology is an enabler. It should not be the driver for the business, but it actually allows things to be able to take people out of certain roles and allow the company to focus on other things. So it's providing things electronically. It's being able to handle requests and transactions in a technology-driven way. But maybe more importantly, it's about how to get the standardization around the process, how to make sure that you have continuity in the way things are done, and to really simplify this for the business. And the second way in which we do it is really around the services that we can provide. So many companies don't have the time or the will to create their own internal shared service center. They need someone else to do this. They want the best technology. They want to make sure that they can get the levels of customer satisfaction. So they're going to look to a company like Northgate Arinzo and say, who can do this for me globally? Who can provide payroll services? Who can do workforce administration on a global basis?
One of the topics that you are currently focusing on is hybrid HR. I mean, how do you go about defining what hybrid HR is, and what is the impact on the HR space overall?
Hybrid HR, this is really about, do I do it internally or I do it outsourced? Now, one could argue companies have been making this decision for a long time. The missing piece to this has been the technology, being able to have a single platform that could connect regardless of whether you kept it in-house or you took it outsourced, or whether you had a mix of those two things. I can have a service provider do certain things for me, but I can do it all on the same technology platform so that I get this integration of data and information, and it supports my process no matter what direction I want to go. So I could in the future outsource more things, or I could bring things back in-house or add functions. And that's really what hybrid HR is about.
What do you think the biggest impact that hybrid HR will have on the HR space?
It's going to help HR leaders really figure out how they can quickly execute on a strategy. So the one challenge that the market has gone through is, I'm going to outsource it all. It was kind of an all or nothing if you wanted to stay up with your peers. And the reality is that doesn't work for most companies. They need to pick and choose. They need to say, here's where I want to be in 3 years. Now, how am I going to get there? Hybrid HR allows them to leverage the investments they've made today, to add on to that, to potentially take certain things, outsource it, to look down the road at what the organization can do from even a capability perspective.
HR 3.0 is another term that's turning heads at the moment. It's said that it's the next generation of HR outsourcing, and practitioners say it's a way of being, it's about being pragmatic. How do you see HR 3.0?
HR 3.0 is really about, is it pre-configured? Can it be hosted? Is it in a multi-tenant platform? And then can I attach services to it based on what I need? And it helps a little bit to understand that, the notion of HR 1.0 was really about, I'll just do your mess for less because I'll find a way to do it simpler. Well, that didn't really work. So then the next big wave of HR 2.0 was, well, let me just take and I will completely transform what you do, and we'll go in and design and figure out all these ways to make it work. And that didn't work either because companies got hung up in design around the world and it was taking too long. And what they really said is, look, as a provider, come to me and tell me what the best way is to do it. I have global population I need to support. How should I be running global processes? Put it on a platform that pre-configures that. Host it for me. And then allow me to pick and choose what services I outsource and what I keep for myself.
Kay believes that HR outsourcing offers a key number of advantages that companies today will find very attractive. I wanted to know what these are.
It's about cost. Can I reduce my cost to do it? Can I get standardized processes? How do I reduce my legal regulatory compliance issues? How do I make sure that I have flexibility for my business? So we want to find ways for our customers to not have to continually implement, re-implement, upgrade solutions. This is very costly for business. And HR is not on the top of the list to get the priority for funding. So how do you deliver it in a way that allows them to just make it part of normal operating costs and on a platform that they can count on that it'll still be here in 10 years?
So I wanted to talk about technology and how you felt that that was helping to liberate HR from the so-called sort of menial tasks and allowing them to focus on, I guess, more important things like strategy, culture, and development of the business.
If you think about what sets your culture in your organization, it's how you think about your people, process, and your technology, okay, and how you bring those together to drive certain things in the organization. And to not have technology that is supporting the way you want your processes to work, the way that you want not just your employees, but maybe people who are thinking about coming to your organization to view you as a progressive organization, that things are simple and easy to do, that it can be a great place to work because things can get done quickly. So the technology really enables an organization to be able to provide the framework for getting things done. And the reality is, if you cannot deliver the transactional activities, the day-to-day, I need to pay people, I need to solve benefits issues, you're never going to get to the more strategic, because you will spend all of your time in crisis mode and reacting to what people need. Now, business people, good business people, have data. They know what their data is. So operating people know all their key metrics. They have systems that provide them information. I would say that HR leaders have had a challenge in having a single source for data, because there are multiple HR solutions they've chosen. And many times it's been their choice to get different point solutions for recruitment, for performance management. And the problem they've created is they have no one way to aggregate this data. And because they can't look at the data, they can't even answer basic questions for the business, and they can't look at how are they looking to performance for the organization. How do they analyze that information in a way that comes back and makes them a strategic partner as opposed to a reactive, let me take 3 days to do a headcount report. I mean, if you can't even say how many people are where, you're probably also not able to say, and what core competencies do they have?
Last September, Northgate Arinzo announced that its Eureka workspace for the SAP Human Capital Management was to be launched in the first quarter of 2010. I asked Kay how it works and what impact has it had.
It's the experience the customer has when they use the technology. So when you think about self-service, I need to go into a technology solution and use it. So our Eureka workspace is that part that the user touches. and it's the place where they get the entire experience of whether the services can work for them. And we've really focused a lot, and one of the reasons I actually am at Northgate Arinzo is because of this technology. Gone are the days when it can be so complicated to try and get something done. Employees just won't use it. So then what happens? You have to have people sitting in a call center, or HR has to answer questions because they don't naturally go to this technology to use it. And Eureka Workspace does one more really important thing. It allows you to put it on your platform. If you have SAP HCM deployed today, we can build it right on your solution. If you want to outsource it and do it as part of BPO services, we can deliver it in that fashion. And if you want it in an on-demand mode where you just want somebody to host the technology, but you want to manage it and to be able to deliver services, you can do that as well. And this is really the power around Eureka Workspace, because not only does it sit on a great platform, which is SAP, but you can do it in this hybrid HR model. So you can do it when you need it, how you need it, where you need it, and it's something that doesn't require huge change effort when you roll it out. You have to simplify that for your employees. You can't take 18 months anymore to get change to occur, because by that time, 10 more things will have changed.
You've mentioned it before about bringing the sort of the HR to the table, to the leadership table, and obviously that's been debated to some extent. How are these sort of issues helping you to develop and adapt your solutions in a meaningful way to be able to provide, perhaps for the future, where all HR are going to be part of that leadership table?
One of the things we're really focusing on right now, for example, is workforce analytics. So fine, we've solved the problem of I can do basic transactions, I can process payroll, I've taken the administrative cost out of my business. Now I need to focus on talent management. How am I going to do that? Well, are my solutions connected that the data, when it comes together, it's actually in a way that I can analyze it. And the analysis is not, oh, I have to download it to an Excel spreadsheet or an Access database and figure out how to manipulate it. But I have dashboards and scorecards that will rapidly tell me at any moment who's behind on doing their performances, what competencies do we have, what does succession look like for the company, who's next in line, do we have a vacancy, do we want it internally, do we want this person to come from external, who's willing to move, who doesn't want to move, who's happy in their job, who's excelling in their job. It's all of those things. And to be able to say those things from a strategic view into the organization, you really have to have access to information. So it's really about bringing together information across multiple processes within HR and saying, here's what this data is telling us. It's telling us that we have a real gap in Indiana, in this plant shop, and we better think about what we're going to do because, hey, 30% of the workforce is ready to retire. Did we know that? Did we understand? And we, by the way, cannot seem to keep people that we're bringing in. They keep leaving us. Why is that? What are we going to do to close that gap in the middle?
In terms of technology, what do you think the future holds for the HR space for the remainder of 2010 and beyond?
I think technology will continue to focus on ease of use. It's all about usability and where do I use it? So, 15 years ago to say that I would let an employee from home access and do their address change. Well, that wouldn't happen. Firewalls, we have firewalls, okay? You can't do it. But now it's all about ease of use. And it's, can I put it on my iPod? Can I transport it to something else? How do I take the information? Can I sit on an airplane and do performance reviews and key it all in? And when I get off the plane and load up and, log in the next time, it automatically uploads. So technology is going to look at how do you maximize the where, when, and how people are able to access it, and it has to be simple. We are becoming a society, not just in the U.S., but around the world that says, give it to me right now. I want it at my fingertips anytime I want to see it. And that's what technology will continue to drive to, even in HR.
Kate Glebe, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Jonathan. My pleasure.
For more fantastic interviews directly related to your business, be sure to explore Meet the Boss TV.